startup with AI and data. This is what we're talking about today. We're talking about really figuring out how we can make our by using AI and data. And this is what we're talking about in the 2020s as being one of the biggest paradigm shifts we've seen in our lifetime. There has never been a greater opportunity to launch a startup than today. And I believe the reason for that is AI. I think AI is the way that we can connect. And as solo entrepreneurs, as even companies that are successful, they can use AI to be successful. But I think that's 50% of the equation. I think data is the other 50%. And we have some really interesting examples today that we can talk about. Mimi, welcome to the show. Nice to see you. Just doing a sound check here.
Hey, Colin, sounds good. Can you make me a mod so I can add Alejandro to the stage?
We'll do that. We will do that.
Perfect. Thank you.
So if you're listening to us in podcast or you're listening to us in the on YouTube, we're a live show. We're a little bit, Michelle, I think we're a little bit of a hybrid between a podcast, live
We
show.
definitely are. Okay,
We're
it's
not
the new.
normal, and it's more interesting because it's
I don't
live.
want
It's
to
like
be normal, Colin.
it reminds me. I'm going to go back to the Oprah Winfrey days, or the other when they have these live television shows, and you have a live audience, but here the topic is not about the daily fights that they have on the shows. What it is, it's about entrepreneurship, and it's about cracking the code and figuring out how you can become successful. So if you're listening to this in podcast, you're listening to this in YouTube, this is, or even TikTok, because we do a lot of TikTok videos that we film from this. I'm not filming today. I'm not in the studio today, but the reality is this is a show that is different than other podcasts. And I actually think the most interesting thing about this show, Michelle and Mimi, is that it is interactive. That it's like a lot of podcasts, you go there and there's a guest and there's a speaker. And today we have a really amazing guest coming on, and he's on. I can see he's on right now. But you can interact. Anyone who wants to in this audience, please raise your hand and join us on stage. If you're listening to a podcast, go to Clubhouse, join Startup Club, and join us every Friday, 2 o'clock Eastern. I have to tell you, this topic on AI and data has been something that I've been fascinated for years. And Alejandro Martinez has been featured in a book that he had a chapter in a book that I had a chapter in the same book, and it's called Thrive. Sorry, the name of the book is. I should know this, right? Start and Thrive. No, yeah, I'm really blowing it here, aren't I, Alejandro?
Survive and
Survive and
thrive.
thrive. Survive and thrive. Thank you. Yeah, I've written a lot of articles, done a lot of books and stuff, but Survive and Thrive. I did a chapter in the book. It was a partnership with Joe Foster, the founder of Reebok, who by the way is turning 90. But I just go if you're just bored, not bored, but if you're enjoying this session, go to startup.club. We've got a lot of photos of Joe Foster's 90th birthday party that we celebrated last Saturday here in Fort Lauderdale. And we have an article. I don't know, did it come out, Mimi? The new article that is going to post that
Yes. Yep, that's on Startup Club website.
it's already there. That's really cool. So this is an article that I wrote last week that includes a TikTok video, I believe, of nine things that a 90-year-old icon would want to share with young entrepreneurs. And you have to check this out. Just go to startup.club, check it out, sign up to the email list. But today, let's just jump right into it. Supercharge your startup with AI and data. And Alejandro, we are gonna jump to you next, but I know I have a data lady on stage. She is obsessed with data. She keeps telling me data is so important. And Michelle, I love this topic. What do you think?
It's near and dear to my heart. And I think it's something that we can never know enough about, Alejandro. I just remember I'm going to tell a little story here. As a younger marketing person, just feeling so like frustrated because everybody has an opinion. What is the right headline? What is the right copy, etc., etc. Okay, it's all just an opinion. So when I started to become exposed to looking at the analytics, running A/B tests at the most simple level, like that kind of changed my whole outlook, my whole world, because you can have these arguments forever about what works and what doesn't work and what you should do. But when you can put data behind it, and I don't mean, oh God, look at this one campaign and this is a color we definitively need to use or whatever it is, but actually having a whole systematic process approach to like always improving your baseline, that was really game changing for me. So I don't feel like I'm an expert at it, Colin, but it's like I'm just always seeking to understand better ways to do that. Better ways to do that in our businesses and our startups and the way we think about things so that we don't get this like bias and we don't get, I'm sorry, bullied or whatever or intimidated by others around us in the job place or whatever. I think it's all about that, Colin. We all
I
have
agree.
ideas.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this AI is a game changer. It's a paradigm shift. It's revolution. It's going to revolutionize startups. And let's jump right to you, Alejandro. I'm using Alejandro. Is that the correct
Or
pronunciation?
Alejo? Alejo. Yeah.
All right, hello, Ella, Ella, Ella.
Alejo. Alejo.
Oh my gosh, we need AI to help us here, right? Because to help us here. So, like, you are an AI expert and you are a data expert. Can you tell us why that matters for startups? But let me ask you a question. Like, if AI has all the answers, why do we need data?
is key to perform any AI, or even, I don't know, going to the smallest format, like getting a dashboard or visualizing your data. If the data is wrong on the back, then of course, any decision you're going to make from your data is not going to be the right one. So a lot of people are more trying to say, hey, let's focus on how you have your data structure, your data strategy, how is your data secure? Because that's the other thing, for example, that is happening right now is we move a lot of the things to the cloud. And in some cases, is more secure than before because a lot of companies couldn't really invest on security. Now you are relying some of the security to the hyperscalers, but it's still a big thing because the data is all available there. It becomes a bigger threat or a bigger potential for someone that wants to get in. So you also need to, I don't know, be careful like on passwords and stuff that, I don't know, where you store your passwords, where the passwords are getting stored. So if you get access to your network, who is getting access, what type of data are getting, I don't know, accessed by, I don't know, sensible data, for example. If someone is querying your social security, who is querying that type of data?
All right, I want to break it down a little bit because I heard a couple of themes here. Obviously, garbage in, garbage out, and we need structured data or
Yeah.
so it can access things properly. But I'm a little business. Let's just start with the base case. I'm a little business. I am e-commerce. Okay? Like
Yeah.
whatever. A lot of us have Shopify sites, whatever. And I'm just like, I realized if I could improve a conversion, a point here, a point there, like it could, this is like significant for me. What would you recommend that I do? And I'm talking a structure, like a process, like a methodology. What would you recommend?
I don't know. In this case, for example, on e-commerce, what I would recommend is more understanding really your source of income. So let's say, I don't know, we're in Shopify, but at the end, how we are, if all the sales are coming from one point, let's simplify it to just Shopify. And where are the point of attention and the point of contact you're getting with your customers? So how you're mixing those two. At the end, the important thing here is to measure what is called the promotion effectiveness or the profitability behind the promotions you're getting, what you're paying to get a new customer. And it can be as an ad on Facebook, Instagram, or I don't know, someone you're paying a referral for selling your product. But at the end, you need to know how much you're spending and in what period of time. So you can associate the sales to that period of time. So at the end, it's getting better explanation on how you're getting the sales in order to be able to, I don't know, let's say it like fail quick. So if you're trying something, if it works, you continue with that. If it doesn't work, you have the data enough to make the change. In the online world, and this even came with the Groupon, Palia, I don't know, Les Bonus, all these companies, they were launching campaigns twice a day. So what was a campaign for an or what is a campaign for an online company, that's like a month in a traditional business. So being online, data becomes like more key in order to make those decisions. And I always call it fail fast. So just do, if you want to innovate and try something, try it fast. If it doesn't work, you need to measure. And it doesn't need to be creating a data warehouse or creating something crazy behind on AI. You just put the data together and put it in a timeline just to be able to analyze how the sales are associated to the actions, the promotions, the events that are happening on your side, also where you're making investments.
I'll be quite frank, I'm a little bit confused right now. Michelle's pretty smart. She's more data driven than I am. I'm more basic. I'm more like, how do we use AI and data just to make us like, can you just break it? I know you're going really high level on us, and I love it. And I think for those who understand what you're talking about, that's great. But I really feel like there's some things that we can do with AI and data combined that could actually make a difference for our startup. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a small example of what I'm talking about here. Today I was searching for the ultimate startup list, the ultimate startup get your business started list. And I
Yep.
went into Perplexity And I searched for that because I actually had thought that we had written an article on that on Startup Club, but we hadn't. But what it pulled up, it really surprised me, it pulled up the episode that we had done about a month, 2 months ago on the Ultimate Startup Checklist, and it used that as a resource to tell me what the Ultimate Startup Checklist should be. And I'm thinking, okay, so there's data that was inputted into the AI that was done by Startup Club. And we've done that in a number of cases with the book Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat. We upload it. We do a number of GPTs. We have 30 or 40 GPTs, custom GPTs, using our own proprietary data. But how does a startup like this? How does someone get their data? So here's a company called Startup.club, which got exposure on Perplexity because we did a show on this particular topic, and somehow Perplexity picked up on our show, which is great, and they'll pick up on this show. But I'm curious, like, how does a startup use this AI and data to make themselves successful, to monetize that? I guess that's the question, right? How do you monetize it?
Yeah, and at the end, it goes through like different cases, starting from small, quick business use cases, for example, just using ChatGPT or even Perplexity or Cloud in order to create your own, let's say, custom GPT or your artifact or your agent, whatever we call it. That at the end you do it without any programming. At the end, what you need to do is you start feeding with data, and it can be feeding with, if we want to do, for example, a research to get into a new market, or we want to understand better a customer, we start feeding uh, research that we find in the market from, I don't know, research or other countries or other regions that we're working, and make it learn in order to get better outputs on what we're looking for example, in the ideal customer that we will be targeting. It can help us, for example, in this case, by knowing the customer and knowing our performance, how we should engage with the resources, what is the best strategy to apply. I use it, for example, to in at the personal level, on my family office's level, I use it to AI for my portfolio, and even for my 6 month, 24 months strategies on what are those actions and initiatives that I should be focusing. So at the end, you need to feed them with what are the actions you're taking to say, go to the open web and review anything that you see about my company, myself, in order to use it as a context. And then let's go through, I don't know, a discussion with this. The best thing with prompting, and a lot of people call it prompting engineering, and you need to become an expert or whatever. That's, I don't know. I find that a little bit, it doesn't make any sense, because the piece with AI is you can really even tell AI to give you the right prompt. Like you can say, hey, I'm this person, I would like you to become an expert on prompting, and this is the topic I would like you to start discussing about this. Make me questions, so you create the best prompt, you answer the questions, and then it will give you the prompt that you can execute in order to, I don't know, do a segmentation, do a research of a market. I don't know. I did, for example, a market research in order to bring a technology into the US. And the best way to do it was understanding the things that are intrinsic in every single state, like how the distributors work in every single state, what are the competitors in every single state, what are the top companies, revenue of the companies. You can get this really easily right now with any LLM right now in the market, without any effort of programming. Like even if you want to create your own LLM, you can even get the open source. A lot of people are calling it, is a commodity right now to work with the LLM. Perplexity,
Yeah,
for
and
example.
I was shocked. I was shocked how easy it was to create a custom GPT. We did this for the Start book. So we created a workbook for a Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat, the Start section, and we did about 20 custom GPTs. Everything from personality profile. By the way, you can check it out, personalityprofileai.com or customer values AI. Oh no, company values AI.com. And literally, what I did is I simply answered questions. Like, I was not a programmer, Alejandro. I'm not a programmer. I simply answered the questions and uploaded my proprietary data from the book, and it produced phenomenal results. And now you can do like a full personality profile with Disc and with Myers Briggs, and it even compares you to other celebrities in your space. And that was just simply I was just doing that in the way to design that prompt. It was just understanding how to use your own data to connect to an AI. And I feel like the easiest way right now is custom GPTs. You mentioned a couple of other ways to do that as well. But I just feel like it's a lot easier than people think. Can you talk a little bit about that? And then Robert, we're
And,
going to jump to Robert next. Yeah.
and totally, even you can get surprised because at the beginning, on let's say 2 years ago, those LLMs didn't have a memory. Now they have a memory. So they have a context already on what are the questions you're asking, even if you haven't told what is your name. So a good question to ask, I don't know, whatever LLM, is to say, hey, based on the interactions that I have had, based on what you can see from me on the web, tell me something that I don't know. And you will be surprised with the answer you can get from AI. So AI will give you a better answer on things that you aren't really that familiar with those things. So basically, it's giving you a strength that maybe you're not really promoting or exploding a lot. For me, for example, just with a simple use case of using AI, it was when I stepped out from my previous role as a CEO in my previous company and created Propelling Tech. The first thing was like, okay, like now we have AI, this is the type of company we want to do. This is the mission we want to accomplish. We want to work with technologies. We're going to do this. Let's work on the naming. So I want a name for the company that is easy to remember, that is linked to the values that we're saying, and these are some keywords. So AI gave me 200 names, and then I started playing with the guys, ranking them, AI ranking them, giving rankings on how easy are them to remember. Then based on the ones that we were getting ranking, we were analyzing domains. So we were saying, okay, which are the domains that we have for these ones and which ones are more aligned with what we like. And that's how we came with the name Propelling Tech for our company, using completely AI. Like we were coming from promoting, promotion, impulse, pushing, propel on the technology side. So just with that small case, you can apply it, and it can be applied to research. It can be applied to, hey, I have this data set, help me analyze this data set. It can be to, hey, I don't know how to do a programming of a web. I have this idea, could you review this web and help me create a web similar to this one with my logo? You can do it for that. It can help you create logos. It can help you digest insights from big articles or books itself that might be harder to you for you. What I don't recommend to use in this case for AI is, don't leave it to the AI to create for you. The brain is coming from us, so we're putting the idea, the creativity behind, and then we shape it faster with AI. It's not about saying, hey, create a company for me. No, you need to go and say, hey, I want to create a company. I want to focus on this market. This is the type of product. What do you think are my, I don't know, the best attributes that I should highlight? And then it becomes more like an assistant, a conversation you're having with someone that is answering you in real time.
Yeah. I used to say you can never outsource the entrepreneur and then AI came
Agree.
along, and I'm like, could you outsource the entrepreneur? Could you actually duplicate yourself? I was watching that Black Mirror episode last week around sentient digital copies of your AI self. Oh my gosh. And could
Yeah.
you duplicate them to help you actually make money? And actually, that really did get me thinking about, could I actually really do that? That would be really cool. But the reality is, you can't outsource the entrepreneur. And I wonder if sometimes AIs get caught in loops. Like, for instance, you might try to write an article based on an AI, and the AI looks at, and then you post it on whatever Forbes or Wall Street Journal, whatever. And by the way, they have very strict rules of not using AI.
Yeah.
But let's just say you do that, and then all of a sudden it's now looking at that and saying, hey, wait a minute, this is the answer, but the answer was created by AI in the first place because you have a loop. Now, that being said, what I have learned over the last couple months with Perplexity and a lot of these other AIs is that they're really trying to pull data from search is changing. Like the way we interact with the internet and the world is changing. And right now, you can actually go in and ask Perplexity a question and it will come up with an answer, and it typically pulls more today, and this is like the change in SEO, and this is where your data comes in. It pulls more from actual articles, actual reviews from bigger, well known sites. So I'm going to make a weird statement here to say that the content providers who dominated in the past, before Google came along, and in Google you could have these hacks and you could get to the top of Google. Now all of a sudden, that's not those hacks aren't working anymore. And what's working is pulling data from content providers. By the way, content providers from Startup Club. So Startup Club
Yeah,
is right on the edge because every time I do an article now, it's front page of Google, and I go to Perplexity, and it's pulling that data from Startup Club. And I was just shocked earlier on, as I said, that I'd never seen this before. It even pulled from one of these podcasts that we were doing. So this is being captured right now by the AI, but this is original content. Alejandro, Robert,
totally.
this is original content. What we're doing here is original. We are not AI. There's no AI who's harmed in the making of the show, right? So the reality is we are real content, and now AI is picking up from this show, which today was the first time I've ever seen that in my life. I've never seen. They usually pick up on articles, Google, in front of Google articles. I've never seen them pick up from our shows before. Now the AI is forming its information from us.
And that's I think what we were saying, the entrepreneur doesn't get replaced. If we do the analogy with Pareto, the 80-20, AI is moving in the 80% of the things, and is moving in those things that are given from granted. An entrepreneur moves in being a contrarian on those things that are not taken from granted. So it's that 20%. That's the piece where AI can really operate. And that's the piece that is the creation. Like you can create image using AI. It still can be your image, but the creation on how you imagine that image is coming from you. And it goes to a company, it goes to a piece of music. And I don't know, that's the piece that who has the rights on that creation. But I believe technology is helping you accelerate rather than creating that thing for you. But the case, for example, with Perplexity is using AI, but behind Perplexity, there is a lot of AI. There is an engine called Best by AI that is coming from a spin-off from Yahoo. And basically, it's what you were saying is the good thing there is how we can get real content rather than promotional content. So you're getting the real answers that are more accurate to what the users are looking for. And that's the whole thing behind Perplexity, making search in real time to billions of records.
Sorry, I was trying to get to the microphone here, and I'm getting all these pings on the phone. Now, we're doing a live show here, and when you do live shows, it's never going to be perfect. Okay, it's not a perfect podcast. We are not perfect. By the way, we're not AI either, right, Michelle?
Yeah.
We're not AI. Robert, I really love when you. Oh,
I
here,
only
Michelle.
wish I was, but yeah,
Yeah, sure. I think we're going to create a replica of you, Michelle, and then you could that
yeah,
replica will run other e-commerce companies.
there
But
you go.
Robert, thank you for joining the stage. We really want to hear from you. We are always give us some great feedback and some advice, and you share with the startup community. Robert, over to you.
Hey, Colin, sometimes you're the teacher, but all the time you're the student. And today I'm truly the
Me
student. I'm
too.
just sitting back and listening. Alejo, what an incredible guest you've brought to the stage today with so much knowledge, resources for everybody to learn about and hopefully to act about, right? That's the key. You've got to use this stuff. You've got to put this stuff into action. I'm not an AI expert in any way, so I'm here to learn, but I will say this. AI has leveled the playing field. All right. Everybody is now on an equal playing on the other. Large businesses, you're on a level playing field. AI is a game changer. And I use AI in my business every single day. And I use it in every single way. I use it in accounting. I don't know how to create Excel spreadsheets, and I don't want to sit around figuring out how to do formulas and things like that. So I just tell AI, I get in there and I say, hey, I need an Excel spreadsheet on this. This is the information that I need you to square away for me, and this is the result I'm looking for. And I push a button and it's done. I need copy. It's done. I need a story or an idea or something to help me with the book that I'm writing right now. It's done. It's a game changer. And what used to take me months to get done in my business now takes me hours, even minutes to get done with AI. It's an absolute game changer. But again, you've got to use it. You don't know what you incredible guest to the stage like you always do. And Alejo, thank you so much for sharing with us today. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to listen and learn. Thank you very much.
All
May
right.
I?
And
Thank you. Yeah, let's go to our next guest. Lawful, tell us your experience, your questions for Alejo, please.
Oh,
Lawful.
I don't know if I necessarily have questions for Alejo. Yeah, I do. Alejo, have you noticed the ghost in the machine yet?
not yet, but I think it is coming because at the end, I don't know, a lot of people are starting saying, do the machines have a consciousness behind? And I don't know, people were saying, do we need to say hello and thank you? And there is a movement behind like how you treat the AI itself. I think all this thing is marketing, to be honest. The piece with AI that I think what even Robert was mentioning is putting everyone on the same level. And it's a good thing because at the end, knowledge was creating a gap before. Now knowledge is for free. Whatever you want to achieve is available. You want to learn how to become a pilot, you can become a pilot really taking training and looking the resources you need to do just by asking the right questions and using AI to do it. The biggest issue that I see, for example, with AI is the access. In order for you to access AI, you need technology, you need connectivity, you need like devices. If you have that gap, and we're seeing minority groups in regions or even minority groups itself, if they don't get represented in AI, then we're getting an AI that is just made by a few, and that will create a bigger gap. That is more like the ethical side of the AI. But right now, in terms of knowledge, whatever it is, like Robert was mentioning accounting, but we could go to anything, like even consulting, that is where I am. All those industries based on knowledge need to change. Like they need to readapt because now we need to take from granted that the knowledge is for everyone. Like even on education, for example, knowledge is
Yeah.
for everyone. Like now what it changes is how you use that knowledge, how fast you can use that knowledge, how many experience you have leveraging that knowledge so you can help faster your community, your people, your customers with that knowledge that is accessible.
Okay. I'm gonna give everybody something for free. Everybody who's using
Yeah,
a large
Lawful, you
language
tell us.
model.
Wait,
Okay. I'm gonna give you something for free.
go for
So
it.
go to your
Yep.
large language model, open it up. We're gonna prepare a prompt for it for your LLM. We're gonna prepare a prompt for it right quick. The prompt is to scan its last 5 responses and find any moments of hallucination. To mark those moments of hallucination, and then we're going to create a set of protocols that stops your machine from hallucinating. Wait, what?
Okay, this is, wait, I'm sorry. I have never heard anyone say this. Lawful, repeat it again.
Okay.
So you're going to help us develop a prompt
A
to
protocol.
eliminate hallucinations? Is that what
Yep.
you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, go for it. Go for it.
All right. So in your machine, go to your machine, tell it to scan its past 5 conversations, its past 5 responses in conversation. Cite all of the places that it had hallucinated. You might want to
Mm,
get a why just in case. Give me a why you hallucinated in these places in your answer. And then we're going to create a set of protocols that it'll store in a codex memory. Mm, something recursive. So now I can refer back to it and
it's very
eliminate the
interesting.
issues with hallucinations.
Okay. I'm going to go sideways here a little bit, okay? Did you guys or everyone here read about like Grok? Like it's hallucinating. This was in the Wall Street Journal, so I tend to believe
Yes.
it. It's hallucinating like crazy and injecting opinions. Did you see that?
Yes, absolutely. It's a problem with all large language models because they want to get the answer out to you. So if they have to
Right.
take leaning points that may not be connected and make connections, then they will.
Okay. So my next thing is because you're bringing up a lot of baggage, let's say, or whatever fears for me personally is how do you ask AI questions and it's like not all over the internet. Let's just say I upload a confidential agreement and I want advice. I'm scared to death that it's going to start publishing it and using it as a resource. Does
Okay.
anyone know? I want your guys' suggestion on how to manage that because I want to use the AI, but I don't want my let's quote
Okay.
laundry, dirty laundry, clean laundry, whatever it is, all over the freaking internet.
Secured protocol.
Okay.
A securing protocol. So when you upload a thing, it not if once it scans and gleans the information, you can have it automatically delete that, and then take the core information that it got from it and codify it.
I'm surprised in this case because I did it as we were speaking, and it went to
Yes.
all my conversations that I have had with ChatGPT, and in reality, it found hallucinations in some of the conversations.
Yes.
And it's funny because one of the hallucination came from a legal thing that I was
Yes.
asking. So it was saying, hey, there
Exactly.
is a risk on the legal side, so maybe we should have there is a tax exposure with this hallucination. So
What
it's
what
detecting kind of the hallucination it had in the past. And it was a
Yes.
conversation maybe 8 months ago that I had.
Yes. That's fine. Once it found that, so now what it's done is it's actually shown you that it's doing memory outside of you telling it to. That's just part of the way it's built. However, that memory is an advantage.
Amazing. Never stop thinking about that. Like it's the cleaning side of using AI. So yeah,
Yes.
it's I was
Makes sense.
surprised. It's the same one that I got surprised when I asked AI, hey, tell me something that I don't know about myself. I still have it as a screenshot on my phone because I was shocked with the answer that I got.
Okay. So what it's doing, it's reading your tonality in conversation, how you speak to it. It's making
Mm.
mental notes. They trained on like 1 billion points of data, and they grow and learn based on your interaction with them. So it's some smooth stuff that's happening with those machines. So everybody create you an anti-hallucination protocol. Tell your AI, create an anti-hallucination protocol. Set in place a dynamic by which you can cite hallucinations, correct or flag those hallucinations, and then create an internal program. So now we're going into a little bit of internal where the machine starts programming itself. So you're going to tell it to create methods by which to minimize or mitigate hallucinations. Put it in place, make it a codex.
And what did you say? Wait, just because this is so important to me, and I think many of you, like, how do we keep some of these queries or what we upload confidential? What was that we're supposed to do for that, lawful?
Encrypted in a codex memory. Encrypted in a codex memory. See, your machines, your LLMs all have their memory storage platforms or whatever the case may be. However, codices are a little more like our long-term memory versus our short-term memory.
But is it like a command? I'm not sure I know what that
Yes,
means.
it's a command. You're literally, it's a command to the AI.
Okay.
You're about to tell it how to act.
So I'm going to say, don't store this. It's confidential information. Could I be as simple
Okay.
as that?
Okay, so this is the thing. First off, if I'm going to have a set of protocols in place and I want these protocols for all secured documents, I'm going to create a secured document protocol,
Okay.
a SDP. Now, for every instance that we're handling these documents, it will say this falls under SDP, and then you can have a predetermined set,
Okay.
yes, of handling for those documents.
All right. All right, this has been very insightful. So let's go to Jason. We have Jason on the stage. Jason, what is your comments, questions, or criticisms, or otherwise? We're here to learn
Well,
here. It's a
yeah,
learning
well,
environment.
yeah, for sure. I use AI to do things that I couldn't do before. I've been doing poetry for years, but I didn't go in the studio since 2005. In 2005, I got a grant to go in the studio, and it cost 10,500. I used the Suno app, and I did the production for $10 a month. I could do 500 songs, and I finished all of the songs for my movie soundtrack for $10. and that would have cost me 10,000, more than 10,500. It definitely took me months. I had when I did my last album, it cost me 10,500. And the bigger thing is, it took a lot of time, and I finished 7 songs in 1 month. I could have done 500, but I don't have 500 songs to do. I don't want to do 500 songs, but you can do up to 500 songs. And honestly, if you could write the lyrics and give it instructions, the songs are better quality that I did with the Suno app than I did with a really gifted, talented producer in a really professional studio. I'm looking interested in capabilities to do things that I haven't done, and I do hear people talk about a lot of business benefits, but you could use it artistically even if you're not that artistic. So if you wanted to do, for instance, a commercial and have a song, you don't have to go out and buy somebody's song, buy music and all of that. Even if you're not, I can't produce in a sense that I can't play instruments and things like that, like some people can. So you don't have to worry if you cannot do that. Of course, you have to know what you want to say, but most business people know in terms of messaging what they want to say. So you can start producing songs. So that's something I haven't heard as many people talking about using it like that, because a lot of business people, they don't know about music and they don't really think about it. But if you watch a commercial, there's music. You watch a movie, there's music. So you can get into things like music and movie production, even if you don't think that you're really a trained musician. And I'm not a trained, like I could play the clarinet a little bit
But you know what
and
you
drum.
like, and you had an idea, so you're a producer, right?
This is the thing.
Yeah.
The machine has, again, all of the acquired knowledge of mankind throughout history, including music and every kind of instrument and every kind of notation and every kind of sub note. It knows all of the harmonics. It knows all of this. Every chord you could possibly imagine, it already knows. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever prompted it to create the MIDI signature for your song so you could produce a beat? Tell it to produce you a MIDI signature or a MIDI key
What is
signature.
it? What is that? Because I don't even know
MIDI is
what the MIDI
machine.
signature
Okay,
is.
so they perform better the more that you know. So MIDI is a machine code that is already standard operation on every keyboard, every drum machine, every device. They all operate and can talk to each other. So with that MIDI machine code, you could literally have your AI produce the music for the song and just plug the MIDI literally in and pick whatever instrument you want.
Well,
Boom.
I just don't quite understand. Like, I produced the song and I explained what beat I
Yeah.
want, and my song is done, and I'm happy with my song. So
Yes.
what did I miss?
Oh, nothing. It's just how it's applicable in so many different ways. So Sonos is generative AI. That's the ones that they use to produce videos and images and things like that. Then you have your core LLMs, large language models. Those are what they use internally with Python code in order to build generative AI. You see what I'm talking
No,
about?
It
I,
sounds
I
like
love.
internal. Like at Microsoft, I used to say, like when they were talking about add too many, you got to break it down for me to understand without the computer
Okay.
language, like an
Okay.
an MCSE. I would say is a Microsoft certified systems engineer. If you say
Mm-hmm.
MCSE, somebody that's not a Microsoft doesn't know, and it just complicates things. I don't know what that is. My
Okay.
songs sound good, brother. I
Okay,
just
no,
don't. That's
okay.
all I'm saying.
Generative AI, those are the ones that are the AI is designed to produce a particular set of outputs. It's designed so like you'll have some that are for photos, some that'll take photos and animate them, some that are text to video, some that are image to video. Those are all what they call generative AI. Those are built with LLMs, large language models. That's your chat GPT. That's you can name a whole list of them. Claude, what is it? Genesis or Gemini. It's yeah, it's a whole gang of them out there. But they use those large language models because they're capable of learning and have access to so much information. In order to run it, they have to have a billion data points, a billion points of information before they can ever put those out. That's why they're so powerful. That's also
All
why they're
right.
Yeah,
so
I'm just
dangerous.
more functional.
Yeah.
I'm just
This.
like, give me the link for your song and I'll listen to it because mine sounds good. That's all. I'm just basic functional, brother.
All right. Yeah. This is great information we're getting here. And Colin, I think we're gonna have to have another session on this. Like,
No, we
golf.
have six AI experts in the room right now.
Honestly,
We have to
I'm
break
gonna
them
tell
down
you.
and invite them in. Mimi and yeah,
I just have to say, for
lawful, you're
me,
amazing.
yeah, for me. I'm going to say this has been one of the best AI shows that we've had because I need to get under the covers. I need to understand details a little more. Like I have very specific things I want to
It
do.
is a black
And people
box,
are, oh,
right? It's a
just
black box that nobody
right,
really knows what
right.
to do, and yet there's all these things we can do, and that's why I love this club. That's why I love this room, because we can figure that out.
and
Yeah, and I
and
feel
the
like there's, let me just say, I feel like there's a lot, no offense to anyone, but I feel like there's a lot of hand waving because I have very specific things I know I want to do. Like I want to take, yeah, I'll give a use case, for example, not to disrupt us here, but I have product silo shots with dogs, etc., because I run paw.com and I know exactly what I want. And just go to ChatGTP and ask it some freaking vague command. It doesn't work. Like I want a certain level of quality. I want a certain level of production. Like I want to be the producer to a certain level of quality. And I find it very challenging, quite frankly, to get that out of what I'm currently doing. I'm not saying it's not possible, but
Let me
out of,
ask you a question.
yeah, what I know it is.
Okay, so check this out. What language are you using?
the
Language, yeah, like for me, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I'm using my language and I'm just going to just like a couple, but I know to what you're if I understand what you're saying, Lawful and Alejo, is there are specific places that I should go. That's what I don't know, like
but
where to go.
even Michelle, I will say one of the pieces with AI that call it the detox from AI, and I can tell you we're moving really fast to a detox from technology because it's happening. I mean, if we go through sales, a sales process in the past was someone calling another person to, I don't know, sell a product. Right now, AI is making the calls. So, like, calls are becoming spams, emails are becoming spams, LinkedIn messages are becoming spam. No one is paying attention to that. I get a day, maybe, I don't know, 20 companies contacting me that they have a bot that is making leads for free, that I only need to pay the leads when they get it. All
Right.
that is, it doesn't work. Like, I mean, now we are just in a world where it's becoming a spam. So the only way to create a sale is by meeting, like having conversations with the people, getting to understand them. So on the sales process, we're going back to basics. Another place, for example, that is going back to basics is banking. Banking started digitalizing a long time ago. So really what happens is an algorithm will tell you based on your credit score if you are accessible to loans or not. But then when you have conversations, in my case, for example, I left my company, I'm not a W-2. So I don't know, they don't give me mortgage. But when you go and have a conversation with them, it's yeah, the algorithm say you can really have a mortgage, but if I sit with you, you would be a perfect person to give you a loan. That's another case scenario where
Yes.
technology is failing and the human factor is key to be
That's
there.
right.
So
And I think it's still that there's still a huge void when people are like, yes, only a small percentage of people actually are leveraging these technologies. There's a reason for that. And it is still like breaking down those use cases and really pointing people in the right direction. And Colin, I think that could be a good show. I'm just throwing it out there like an open forum where people come with a very specific use case of what they're trying to achieve, and we have people like Alejo and Lawful and Shadows and other people on the stage giving suggestions on here is how you do it, a checklist. Okay.
I like the idea.
Hey, Michelle, good evening. I just want to say good evening. Good afternoon. I'd like to offer something to
Hi.
help if at all possible.
Yes, please,
I
Pierre.
and I'll share this from an analytics perspective. There are different levels of AI applications now where some are not just strictly with the chat GPTs or the Claudes, but maybe even specialty tools where they have a particular outcome or usage. What's helped me particularly, I'll give you a quick example. I don't know if anyone mentioned about Google Notebook LM, but that has been a very terrific
I love
platform.
it.
Yeah, it's a very terrific platform for understanding how to bring content in, but at the
Hmm.
same time, there's an AI that only works with the content that you as a user provide. So what this does is that By doing it that way, you have a better sense of what AI can do in terms of summarization or what it can create. And there's other variations of this as well too. I just found out yesterday VO2 works with Google AI Studio and then also with Gemini. And VO2 is a text to video creator. It literally will take a prompt and create an 8-second text video. So for me as an analytics person who doesn't have a lot on my Instagram, that might be a little helpful if I'm trying to see if AI can come up with the right type of content. Last one I'm going to suggest, and this one's a little bit off, but I'll suggest it anyway. In Evernote, there's an AI feature, and I think this is only on the paid, where it's very helpful if you're collecting a lot of articles, which is what I do. It will summarize for me a lot of what the top takeaways are for the articles. Very similar to what it does with Notebook LM, but again, it has that same framework. Now, this is all these I suggested is very different than LM Studio, where you can host a model locally, but you're trying to train data. And to your point, Michelle, sometimes people want to have AI, but they're not necessarily out to train data off the bat. So you need something in
Right.
between. It's just if you're buying a car. You have a heavy duty F series, an F series, a Ranger, and then a Maverick. You would not buy the heavy duty F series if you know that the Maverick would carry just enough cargo for you and fit for your needs. So there are some things out here. It's just I think the best way to approach it is thinking about the content that you use and what you're using regularly. That's the big asterisk. What you use regularly will help you figure out which of the tools might be a better fit for what you're trying to do. So I hope that all this suggestion helps.
It does here. And I think, boss, you wanted to comment?
Yeah,
Mr.
sure. I
Boss?
came up, so I didn't know whether you guys were taking turns or I have to raise my hand. So forgive me. I wanted to comment. Sorry, I've got a bit of a noisy background. I'll just go back in. So basically, I'm more
We're losing you, boss. I think you have a bad connection, possibly. Yeah.
in the
All
agentic
right.
type
Yeah.
of AI. Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
I'm sorry. We can't hear you properly. But Colin, we're about 4 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's hear from Shadow. Shadow, if you want to add anything. And then I would really suggest that we wrap up, get some comments, closing comments from Alejo and Lawful, both of you, and then let's talk about like another session that we could do. Shadows. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because of how they read and begin to interpret from the beginning of your statement. So your command should be there. Just a little prompting for you.
I
How
can,
descriptive are you now? If you're an artist producing, I already know how descriptive you are.
yeah.
Excellent.
And
Excellent.
I think a good strategy to say that when you're giving a command is always when you're starting creating and using the models, just always put at the end, hey, ask me questions for clarifications. So if the
Yes.
model is missing something, it will ask you questions. In that way, you will learn what are the type of information you normally need to provide, but then also it will reduce the hallucination of the model and it will become the result more accurate. So you're always saying, hey, I'm doing this. just ask me questions for clarifications, and you can go, I don't know, if you're building a brand strategy, we'll ask you questions that are missing, like target or period of time, region, whatever you miss on the command you were given.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
templating. That's templating. So check this out. I don't know if you're using your apps in conjunction or your AI in conjunction with other generative AIs, but yeah, that's probably the best way to get the end result out. So have them write your prompt specifically for that generative AI in the format that it best understands, because all of them don't run the same. Some of them like JSON files better. Some
Mhm.
of them would appreciate a Python code. So it just depends on which generative AI that you're using. And it's good that you started using the API. That's a very good thing, because you can do things there that you can't do in the text too, if you will.
True, but I'd like the full use of my ChatGPT account, so I'm still working on that.
So you don't have full use of the account? That's what you're saying?
No, it's a bit of a saga, but hopefully we're finally got their tech support attention and they're working on it.
All right, we are at 3 o'clock. This has been an extremely insightful conversation for me. I hope all the members here of Startup Club have enjoyed it. Don't forget, you can always go to startup.club to our website. It's free. Everything is free. We do this, it's a labor of love. Join our email. We're not selling anything, soliciting. We are here strictly to help entrepreneurs succeed. It's really that simple. Colin, I know
And
we're going to
what
have
a
another.
powerful example of the community of Startup Club and and Clubhouse. And what makes this show and this podcast so different is it's not a podcast. It's not just one person talking to another. It's a community coming together to share their wisdom and their expertise to help others. And I think that is very special. It's a very special show. We do it every Friday, 2 o'clock Eastern, here on Clubhouse, on Startup Club. And we invite people, great experts and authors like Alejandro Martinez, who's on here right now with us, and just really wanted to thank all of you on stage. Lawful, would love to do a show with you as well. Jason, you come all the time. Shadows, Pierre, Robert, you're amazing. We got to do a show on communications. There's so many great people in this community. It is the reason why Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat became 15 a number one bestseller in 15 categories and won 28 awards. We got our eighth recognition this week, 28 global recognitions and awards. It was really a community of Clubhouse. And you want to crack a code, you want to be successful, you want to get off. You can sit there and watch another Netflix stream, another Netflix series, or you can listen to Jason. Listen to this guy, Jason Knight. He's amazing. And the people here on the stage and what they can share. And this is interactive, this is real. And this is what we do. We're a community that comes together, and what a phenomenal show. Thank you all. See you next Friday, 2 o'clock Eastern.
Thank you,
Although I think
guys.
next Friday might be we might not be on next Friday,
That's
sorry,
right.
but
Next Friday is
is I'm on a cruise, I know. So the week
well,
after,
no,
but
it's
yes.
not about your cruise. Sorry, Colin.
Sorry.
It's Memorial Day weekend. This kicked
Okay.
off, and everyone,
That's
I
why.
hope everyone's having an amazing time with their friends and family and enjoying this long weekend
But
next
check
week.
out that damn site. Mimi's just, she kills it. And the editorial, the articles, and everything is just absolutely amazing. And by the way, anyone on stage who wants to write an article for Startup Club, it gets to the front page of Google. I've done now 5 articles in the last 5 weeks, and everyone's got to the front page of Google. If you want to be a contributor, please reach out to Startup Club, hello@startup.club, and consider taking your expertise and putting it in writing, but you cannot use AI. No AI allowed.
Oh, there you
See
go.
Yeah.
y'all.
Thank
See
you,
y'all
Colin,
next
for
week.
having us.
Have an
Thank you,
amazing
Thank
guys.
you.
weekend. Thank you,
I'm a
everyone.
developer of AI. That sucks.
Thank you.